Good morning, y'all. It's here in my Monday morning time slot. Your host of the show, Aries Bookman. Welcome. Thank y'all for your attendance, your appearance. It's very much appreciated. Alicia M. Grand Rising. Good morning. I am mourning the death of yesterday. Or the arrival of today. Who knows? Society Ejects. Good to see you in the building. Whoa, what is that? Boy, you're looking... Oh, is that... No, I don't know. I don't know what the symbolism is telling me there. Boy, are you handicapped? Does it hurt today? Look, I'm coming off the back end of some sickness, and so we're drinking some good shit today. Just ridiculing curriculum, okay? All right, cool. Hopefully we'll get you beyond just ridiculing, but welcome to the show! Cast Iron Conjure, cast the spell in the house as well. Good morning, y'all. I'm glad y'all came out to help me. Because what I'm going to do is for y'all. I want to do what I want to do, which is my fucking problem. But I'm doing this for y'all, so I have to keep that in mind. Gerald Sunbright, top of the morning. Yes, sir. And Timon times 2. You already know we here in the building, y'all. What I want to talk about today is I want to go in depth on the topic of shadow work. There's a lot of times motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about, and they're talking, and they're not gonna stop talking because talking feels so good. Malik, good to see you in the chat, man. Welcome to the show, y'all. Bro, I was just laughing at this reel. It's hilarious. I'm not even gonna show it though because it's too long. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But what we're talking about today, shadow work. I want to talk about what it means, how we come to the idea, especially from the perspective of the Bookman model. As always, get into the fact that people are mixing and matching cosmologies. But to really, shadow work is really just self-therapy. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you, but what is you? That's the big part. Because if we overlook what self is, our therapy is ineffective. Well, it's not as effective as it could be. That's what I'll say. I want to say it's ineffective because you can be very effective not actually looking at what self is and then doing self-therapy. So you can be very effective. Get that spoon and dig that tunnel. Oh yeah, you can do it. And so that's my thing. What is you? What is self? What are we talking about? Because if you're doing shadow work on that level, maybe you'll get more of a divine link. Most people, when they're doing shadow work, they're just, let me start the show. You see, I'm sitting here and talk all day. I don't even need segments, bro. I don't need a co-host. No, stop. Everybody, good to see you in the chat. I'll see y'all in 40 seconds? Cool. Excellent. Okay, cool. I can just, do that. All right, y'all, check me out. Like I said, this is for y'all. There's a whole bunch of shit I'd love to talk about. What's his name? Theo. I was just watching the dude's stuff, man. Theora Apophysis. Thank you. Theora Apophysis came out with a video on divine numbers of metaphysics. Which I've been talking about for years. But fuck divine numbers. It's not divine numbers, but that's what he's saying as well. But it's the qualities of quantities within the dynamic multiplicity of unity. That's the metaphysics. I've been talking about it for years. I cannot wait. So I was going to respond to that video, but I want to be more precise. And besides, something like that would be for me. It would be for me. And this show is for y'all. We are at the playground for y'all, and that's fine. I'm going to do what I do in my own personal time, but I'm excited about it. Aaliyah, good to see you in the chat. Hey, everybody, glad everyone is alive and able to rock the shit out another day. We're here. Hey, look, sometimes that's all I got. but this is the guidance, this is the guidepost. Guidance on godhood. When I do this show, I'm doing it from the perspective of anyone who not only is in the guild or will be in the guild. If I'm saying things and you're not one of those two people, more than likely you're going to miss a bit of what I'm saying. The more finer details is in terms of methodology. But I'm gonna cover it as much as I can in the video. So you get your refreshers, you get your extension on this. Let's say you get out the guild 4 months later and you're still watching the show. The shit will be still relevant to you. All right, that's what I'm doing it for. Guidance on godhood. And this shit, like I said, I'm not doing it forever. Stop. There we go. All right. This is what I want to do. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's talk about shadow work. Now, anyone in the guild will know that when I do any of the teaching, during our sessions, what I use are a collection of atlases I've created that I call the Black Books. Okay. There's one for each of the A's of practical magic, and then there's one for shadow work. Okay? Like I said, in the guild, we go over the 3 A's of practical magic. Ascension, which is the basic fundamental idea behind the work in any rite. Okay? The methodology is going to differ drastically, but we talk about the link between the fundamentals and the methodology. So that's Ascension. We do ancestors. If you can do ancestors, you can do anything that's non-physical. It's very simple. Last one we do is altars. If you can do altars, you can do any working tool. Okay? Divination's a bit different, but we can always talk about that. But along with those 3 A's, we get into shadow work. We do shadow work every Saturday. We'll at least get into the discussion of the topic. And so this is the piece of material we use. If you're in the guild, you're always free to download this, take it, do whatever you want. But what I'm drinking is mostly water. I put a little bit of tea and a lemon in there. What did I put in the tea? Lemon pills, garlic, ginger, cayenne pepper. Yeah. You boil it down with the tea. Put a little in there and spike the water with it. It sits a little bit better. Anyways, excuse me. Okay, so let's get into shadow work. A lot of times when people talking about shadow work, most of what they're talking about, just like just ridiculing curriculum said, it's mostly a self-therapy thing. And this is fine. I don't want to tell you that's incorrect. But what I want to say is that it can be more efficient. And obviously he was making a simplification or summarization, and usually when you drown out some of the details, things get closer to incorrect, I'd say, but not necessarily incorrect. It's just a simplification. But anyways, I want to push it beyond the simplification, okay? Because at least understanding what you're talking about in terms of this work, and not say just ridiculing curriculum doesn't understand. I'm talking about anybody in general. Understanding what you're doing is half of figuring out how to do it, okay? And so you want to understand the cosmology you're working with. Now, when most people are talking about shadow work, they are invoking the psychological framework of Carl Jung. Carl Jung came out of Sigmund Freud's group. In fact, Jordan Peterson said something very interesting about Sigmund Freud. He said, so much of what Sigmund Freud gave us about psychology and psychoanalysis has been accepted in the mainstream and taken for granted So now all we really remember are the things we disagreed. And so he's completely looked at. Anytime you think of Freud, you think somebody wants to fuck their mom, right? Right? But you don't think about psychoanalysis as a whole and the whole field of it. See, so much of what you got all these fucking armchair pop psychology fucks, which is part of the reason I want to clear up shit about this. Because Carl Jung, maybe in his personal life, might have been somewhat of an occultist, but dude, the dude was materialist. This is part of the reason it hit him so hard. Because of the glass ceiling on his conception of self. That'll be the biggest issue motherfuckers have, is that as they look at these things that are divine, they make themselves, in the midst of it, way too small. Way too small. But I get it. You see, this is what I'm saying. In terms of being able to effectively do things of ascension, okay? To effectively do ascension, you can't stay small. Anyways, when Carl Jung, okay, he's the one who coined the idea of shadow as a psychological, I guess I'll say apparatus at this point. So that's what you're invoking, first of all. So anyone who's telling you shadow work, it isn't necessarily a spiritual practice in the sense that they're invoking Carl Jung. Okay? That's the first one. Second one. What is Carl Jung talking about when he's talking about a shadow? First of all, these are psychological apparati. And what does that mean? These are almost wholly subjective. The shadow isn't a thing. Okay? Like it's even like that's part of his use of the language. You see, obviously Carl Jung did not create the word shadow, the idea of a shadow. He used the word in a framework. Okay, so what is a shadow? It's the absence of something. It's not darkness. A lot of people confuse shadow with darkness. They hit this little battle between light and dark. No. Light don't stand a chance against dark. And most of the time, and this is why I love Theoria, most of the time people are confusing illumination with light. Which is part of the reason they confuse shadow with darkness. But that's neither here nor there. No, it is there, because look, what do we mean when we're talking about a shadow? It's the absence of a thing. Okay? And not only that, everything in the light casts a shadow. Everything in the light. See, okay, here's the thing. And let me get down into some of the images, because we talked about this in the sessions, and we're going to talk about it every Saturday, because it's that important. It's that crucial to understand what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, the biggest thing, and I'll come back to this always. Shadow work is about learning to be honest, not only with yourself, but about yourself. Okay, now, once again, how you go about that is going to determine what you think yourself is, but continuing, because I want to give you the basics of the idea of the shadow work, and not necessarily what you need to be knowing. Because you want to figure out that getting the guild, fuck you mean? That's what the fuck we talk about. Never mind, sorry, don't be a dick. Anyways, where's the image I wanted to give you? This one. Here we go. Okay, when people think about shadow work, this top image is where the idea will come from. And it's in a basic way to explain the natural dynamics of a shadow. Okay? We got darkness and light. Okay? And don't jump there. Don't jump there. Let me tell you this first, before I do that. Excuse me and my apologies. The image at the bottom. This is a methodological map. If I show you a map and it has Brandon's lovely face, here I'll put the pointer next to Brandon's lovely face. This is Brandon's lovely face. If the map has Brandon's lovely face, it's a methodological map. I.e., we're talking about, okay, you are here, this is where you're going, and this is how you get there. All right, shadow work is most certainly a means to an end when it comes to the greater work of ascension, most certainly. But what you do there is invaluable to the whole work, okay? I'll get more into that as I continue. But what the fuck do we mean when we're talking about shadow, okay? Oh, excuse me. So, everything in the light casts a shadow. Think of the light as the light of your own awareness, okay? Where you draw the lines on that, this is up to you. See, motherfuckers ain't used to being able to do whatever they want to do. They'll say that shit so they don't have to do what they don't want to do. But they don't know how to know what they want to do. Shut up. See? Anyways, shadow, okay? Everything in the light casts a shadow. Think of the light as the light of your awareness. This is all that stuff. I'm going to tell you this is primordial realm. So we're not really going to talk about that because shadow work ain't got nothing. It don't have anything to do with that per se in terms of essence. Anyways, the light of the light that is shining. What is shining on? Let's say that sphere is your conception of yourself. All right. Let's say that sphere is your conception of yourself as a whole. This is your totality of the knowledge of yourself. Because sometimes there's an aspect of shadow that's just things you're unaware of, but there are other things that you're rejecting. That you're trying to be like, nah, I don't even want to have to look at that. So there's a bit of a distinction there, but continuing. The part of the sphere that's illuminated, okay, the part of the sphere that has been illuminated by the light, this is what we call personality, or in the Bookman model, rather, okay? Because once again, when you're talking about shadow work, generally, people are invoking the framework of Carl Jung. And so you're going to want to look at his cosmology. Matter of fact, why am I telling you to do anything? Because you're not going to do it. Let me do it. Let me see what they got. I wonder if there's an image of his cosmology. And there's so many people making bullshit. God damn it, I'm gonna have to fuck with it, man. Oh, there it was. I think I've seen this one before. Okay, you see that little circle back there? You can barely fucking see it. Because I've seen that diagram of cosmology. Here we go. Okay? Let me make it bigger. There we go. This is a basic idea of Carl Jung's cosmology when it comes to the idea of shadow. So what I'm saying is not very far off. I'm more inclined to get into the details, but it's crazy. It's like everyone calls me when I'm on the live. Well, yeah, man, they're trying to look. It's a moment of truth. Life is like, okay, look, this nigga said this is what important. Nah, we're gonna give him some bullshit. Watch him put it on a pedestal. Watch him put this bullshit on a pedestal. Nah, sorry, man. Do you think, bro? Anyway, look, I'm gonna be here. Anyways, okay, look, this is likened to the image I'm using. I don't like to use this image, because and for so many, this is my big point. This is what we started with. Motherfuckers go back to humanity. Like they make themselves so small. They don't examine their own cosmology. So I'm not a humanist. Okay, I'm not a humanist. So I'm going to have a completely different view on this. But most people are quite naturally humanists. And so they quite naturally put that glass ceiling on top of all of these things. Anyways, if you look here, you'll see the front side, what he's calling persona, and I can call it persona too. It's not a problem. I say personality. Okay. This is the part that is illuminated. Okay. You'll see shadow. This is the part that lacks that illumination. What he's calling consciousness, and I hate this word. I hate consciousness. I hate mind. I hate God. I hate energy. God. Anyway, what he's calling consciousness, I'm telling you, is your conception of self. Because consciousness is so fucking weighed down with all kind of bullshit. And then you got motherfuckers talking about conscious and unconscious, but they didn't actually look at them. Hold on, let me go into it. Conscious and unconscious. Because motherfuckers will throw a subconscious in there, and subconscious ain't in none of the literature. Whatever. Well, no, Carl Jung didn't really know. We came upon subconscious, and now we know. No, shut up. It's brain function. It's the meat bag. It was fucking worm food. I'm not looking up conscious sometimes. Look up conscious sometimes. Okay, do it. Do it. It's not for you. Stop being a dick. Let me put Freud in here. Cause motherfucker, this pop psychology today be killing me, bro. There we go. Thank you. This is how Freud set it up. Freud and them set it up. They were not using subconscious mind. Okay, Freud even had a point where he was spitting the word, but he was like, no, this ain't even. As I think about it, no, this is not what's supposed to be here, which is why he says unconscious. Okay, even Carl Jung and them talk about these things. See, once again, go to the literature, go to the text. You know, go to if not that, go to a motherfucker who studied Carl Jung like religiously. Dr. Bernardo Castro is an excellent example of that. You want to talk to somebody who knows about Jung? There's plenty of people who know about Jung. But most motherfuckers are settled for just saying whatever they've heard somebody else say. Subconscious mind is, you're making it threefold, but what people are usually referring to is brain function. So yeah, people jump into the threefold, okay? And look, I'm not saying you can't do that, but what I'm saying is that's not what Carl Jung was talking about. That's not what Freud was talking about. It's not to say which one is right or wrong, but the two are not correlative. You can't just switch them out. Anyways, excuse me. So going back to the model I'm using here, okay? A very simple way to understand what shadow is and the dynamics of it, okay? That once again, that first side of the sphere, the side of the conception of yourself that is illuminated, we call that your personality. It's the part of your conception of self that you would readily agree with and identify. Gotta shimmy out that human skin. Hey man, look, leave it right there on the floor. Somebody gonna come pick it up and clean it. I'm telling you. Look, worms will love it. It's worm food. It's crazy. It's like everyone calls them. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Once again, you readily agree to this. Hey, you're a handsome guy. Hey, the girls think you look good. Man, that souffle that you made was astounding. Okay, cool. Everybody agree to that shit, right? And it's fine. When it comes to shadow, okay, and this is why I love this image. You'll have two different angles of it, okay? You'll have the stuff that you're unconscious of, which will be the backside of that sphere. As you see, it lacks illumination. But no, don't get into that. Don't get into that. The backside of the sphere lacks illumination, but that's not the only shadow involved here. You see, because there's also a shadow being projected onto the ground. Now, when we're talking about the shadow projected on the ground, this is the shit that you're ignoring, rejecting, trying to hide. We're talking about the shit on the back of the sphere. That's the shit you don't aware of. That's the shit in your hand that you don't realize is in your hand because you never considered that hand as one of your hands. What is you? Never mind. Anyway. And I also have to say this too. A person's particular approach to this work will determine how they explain it. Me personally, being a left-hand path occultist, there are certain ways I will explain it. And I want to reiterate this because for some reason it really doesn't get through. I'm not telling you need to be left-hand path to do this at all. Okay? Doesn't matter what angle you approach this at, it's that you're not arbitrary. Don't be arbitrary and just flippant. If you're the thing that makes meaning in the world, why would you flippantly make meaning for yourself? Anyways, excuse me. Shadow work. Okay? So I talked to you a little about shadow, talked to you a little about personality. This image I'm using here is a very basic image. This is another image I'd rather give you that's going to be closer to what you'll experience on the territory here. Would you say most of our dreams are from the shadow? I'll say this. I'll say dreams are non-physical, and I'll also say that shadow is not necessarily a V, which is part of what I want to get into. It's not singular by any means. It can appear singular, although a lot of things can appear singular. Anyways, but yeah, keep that in mind. Shadow and personality are not monolithic or singular things. In fact, they're not even really as separate as you would think. A better way to look at that, and I should put that in the atlas on my next edition. No, I have this in the study materials. Ha! I have it in the study materials. Okay. No, I'll pull it up on the app so I don't have to close this. I'll pull it up on the app so I don't have to close this. Yeah, I got the desktop app and I'm opening it up on the browser so I can do different things. Anyways, here comes my app. Beautiful. Come on, wake up, baby. Oh, come on. Because I have the good shit in the study materials. Now I put there and they be like, oh, this is interesting, this is novel. Fuck you, whatever. It's okay. It's okay. That's what's gonna happen. Where was I going? Ah! Oh no, I want to go through. I put it in the comment section under this one, under the auric field, right? The auric tree of life. Yes, I put it in the comment section under the auric tree of life. All right. So in the study materials, I put things that would be useful. Right? This is a map of the tree of life in an auric sense. So it's a three-dimensional sense. One depiction of it in a three-dimensional sense. This is kind of, I would almost say this is like a pre-heaven version of the tree of life. But once again, we can get in debates about that. That's ridiculous. Anyways, there's the four worlds of Kabbalah. No, I didn't put it there. Where did I put it? I put it under the Anu. Duh. Why? Because what am I looking for? The torus and the hyperboloid. If you are not aware, if you have never seen this, people say the Anunnaki. This is not aliens. The Anu is a dynamic. All right, it's a dynamic. Fivefold on the outside, sevenfold on the inside. It is a dynamic. Okay, there's your going up, there's your going down. That is the Anu. You have a positive and a negative, male and female of it. But this is what I was looking for. This is a cross section of the torus, which is that donut shape, and the hyperboloid, which is what's going in the middle, okay? Now look at this cross section of a torus. What do you see? What does it look like? Uh-oh, two circles that look separate. Ain't it though? Two circles that look separate. So when you're talking about personality and shadow, keep that torus in mind, okay? Keep that torus in mind, because when you look at it like this, you just see a sphere. A torus is an infinite number of spheres. It's fourth dimensional. Anyway, excuse me, sorry. But when you only see the sphere, you don't see the hyperboloid in the middle. You don't see that axis in the middle. Okay, remember, let me go back to it. You have the two circles forming the torus, and then you have the hyperboloid. What is a hyperboloid? It's like the hourglass shape. This is why I love Theoria, because he actually talks about some of this other stuff. Now, mind you, I get why he thinks he's the only person out here doing it, because motherfuckers ain't doing it. Do I want to show you a hyperboloid? I just showed you a hyperboloid. Stop being a dick. Stop being a dick. There is a hyperboloid. Okay? Oh, come on. All right, there we go. Look at that. There's a hyperboloid. I like that it has a twist in it as well. Okay? So you have, because what's the shape that you don't see when you look at the hyperboloid? The torus. And what's the shape you don't see when you look at the torus? The hyperboloid. Because they define one another. They trace each other's surfaces. So when you're looking at personality and shadow, think about a torus as a cross-section of a torus. Don't think of personality and shadow as these two. I mean, it can be conceptually beneficial to see it somewhat as an anthropomorphic or metaphoric battle. I understand that. But what I like to think about it as is like how you have a hurricane. You know, it's on this part of the hurricane, you know, all out here where you're twisting and turning, it's chaos, it's ridiculous, it's hard to figure out. But when you get to the center of that, there's this there's the calm in the center tracing out that hyperboloid. And that's the axis upon which you do ascension. Okay? It's not to say you get rid of the hurricane. But what you want to do is calm those clouds. And that's going to be shadow work, okay? Here, let me give you, this is a better image of the relationship you're going to get between the illuminated and shadow, okay? Because there, you got the light coming. They're nested in the darkness, light and darkness, beautiful. That which light touches, which is touched by the light, I guess you could say, is illuminated, all right? There's an absence of light, that's shadow. Anyways, look at the texture of the shadows you're going to get here. It's not just a sphere. There's texture to the sphere itself. There's depths. There's an ecosystem, biology. Look at the clouds. There's weather patterns. Not to mention moons. That's going to be closer to your experience of shadow work as you traverse the territory. It's not going to be just like this little simple sphere. This is how you explain to you the basics of the dynamic between illumination and shadow. Okay? Your experience of it is at the very least going to be closer to this. Please include moons. Okay? Please include moons. You can very well include other planets because, bro, look, I'm saying it's a whole different dimension of existence, and dimensions are not places. We're talking about the scope and extent of perception. It's not that the places change. Your capacity to see, to notice, to perceive is what's changed. Excuse me. So when it comes to shadow work, it's very basic. It's very simple, okay? To explain. Your goal is not to get rid of shadow. Everything in the light casts a shadow. Shadow is quite natural. You never get rid of shadow. You never have to stop wiping your ass. You never have to stop wiping your ass. It's always going to be doo-doo on there. Even if you pay a nigga to do it and wash it, which is okay, whatever, but you still got to wipe the motherfucker. All right, you always gonna have shit coming out your ass. It don't stop. So the point isn't to get it to stop. Okay, the point is to change the dynamic, change the environment. Like I said, you can start out with a hurricane. It's chaotic on the outside. It's terrible. But to have that axis exist, I mean, all that chaos, all that terror, all that trauma defines that axis in the middle, where you find the rest. Okay, so it's not to say just ignore the hurricane. No, because if you try and go up that axis, all this other shit is fucked. Well, look, some people's method is that. I will say that. Some people use that as a methodology to just ascend over everything. But then when you do that, which is a middle path or path of the mother, I mean, there is no self. So as far as we're talking about a self and shadow work, I mean, hey, once again, I'm dipping into method. Excuse me. I'm trying not to. I want to get to the fundamentals. But, well, because shadow work is so fucking methodological. Anyways, because what the fuck are we talking about a shadow? That's why I go all through this to tell you what the fuck we're talking about a shadow. Stop. Do you see that? That's ridiculous. Stop. Okay. The point isn't to get rid of the shadow, okay? Just like in the image we're looking at here. On the right, when the angle of approach of that light comes in at an angle, meaning it's not upright, meaning it's not dead on, meaning it's not direct, okay? What happens is that the shadow that is cast is larger. It has more influence, okay? When that light comes from directly above, high noon, all right? Beautiful. The shadow does not go away. It gets smaller. It has less influence. Okay? See, think about this. Once again, you got a hurricane out there on the ocean, right? The sun is always shining regardless of whether or not it's raining. We know that. So, on top of that water, it's covered in shadows. Covered in shadows. The wind is blowing. The seas is bumping. Right? But if you calm all them clouds, they still cast shadows. Right? Everything in the light casts a shadow. All right? Everything in the light casts a shadow. This is not about getting rid of shadows. People will say integration. And once again, this is a call back to what I'm calling a glass ceiling on Carl Jung's ideas. All right? It's the humanism. It's the humanism. They'll tell, and we talked about this in one of the sessions of the Guild, actually. The idea of integration. You're reading the idea of integration from his model. So you actually have to get in there and look at his model. Dawson, good to see you in the chat, man. Integration is the idea of putting those two sides to work together. Okay, so to the degree to which they're somewhat divided, you want to integrate them into one whole. I'm not going to tell you that's wrong, but shadow work is a means to an end. And if you think that what's being called integration is the ends of spiritual work, you missed it. You missed it, and that's the big thing. That's why I don't like integration, because it invokes or draws in this idea of finality that's coming along. And I'm telling you, you never stop wiping your ass. Oh, I'm pretty sure Leah said that in the fucking in the Gilded, during one of our sessions. It's probably last season too. Why am I covering my mouth? Okay. This is what I want to fuck with. This. All right, remember, if you see Brandon's lovely face, we're talking about a methodological map. So there's Brandon's lovely face, okay? This is the me and the we axis from the Bookman model. I actually met somebody who, in their own framework, had a me and a we axis. It worked a bit differently, although it was very singular and personal. But anyways, it wasn't inaccurate, I guess you could say. But this is what I'm saying. It would have the glass ceiling on it, the humanity. I don't want you to do the humanity, okay? Human is a lie. Homo sapien is real. Human is your narrative agreement to a particular idea or set of circumstances. All right, it's a narrative. Anyways, love the analogies on cleaning up, though. Those never stop, so why is there a means to an end with shadow work? Yep, this is what I'm going to get into. Beautiful question. Thank you, Imani. Shadow work is a means to an end because shadow work only incorporates this me axis, this idea of a me. Okay, and once again, when I say that, it doesn't mean, oh, he's telling me to get rid of the me. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. As long as you have a meat bag, you're going to have a me. You can't spell meat bag without me. I like that. That's funny. This is what I mean by the me axis, okay? And look, that me axis is only touching, well, it's only involved, or not only, excuse me, stop, don't only it. It intersects both sides of that torus, okay? And there's details of shadow work. There's details that I can map out for you that make it a little more simple. Because like I said, the shadow is not a singular thing. I actually prefer to see it as a category of things. Because the personality isn't a singular thing. The personality you use at work isn't necessarily the one you use at home. The one you use for your mother isn't necessarily the one you use for your friends. They're all equally valid. By that same respect, shadow is not a singular thing. But once again, it's a means to an end. It's only involved in this me axis. Now, when we're talking the we axis, this is the axis that involves you, however you choose to define that, and we can get into that. This is the axis that involves you and the divine. Okay? P. With Brandon's beautiful face here, everything behind him is red. Where do we see red on the fundamental map? The physical world and body. So all that's back there. All that's back there, okay? When we're going within, all right, this is non-physical. When we're going within, that's why it's blue. Very easy, right? It's non-physical, okay? So the idea of yourself as the body you left back there, to the degree to which you bring it with you and shape it to make a me, is how much you're going to have a glass ceiling, okay? Your me is that interplay between the illumination and the lack of illumination. Here, this is a better picture to show you why it's a means to an end, because I had to use fucking 2 dimensions, but okay, whatever. Look, peep the color, peep the color. Once again, red back there behind Brandon. You left that there with the physical body and the physical world. I know you get that. All that blue, that's the outline of this tetrahedron, this pyramid shape. That's shadow work, okay? It's going to condition the environment around which you move on that we axis. Remember, I talked to you about the torus and the hyperboloid. The hyperboloid is that we axis. It's the you and the divine to the degree to which such a thing exists, okay? The shadow work is going to be that interplay of personality and shadow running around the bottom. And as you move up that axis through the path of ascension, through the work, so to speak, the influence of this surrounding area becomes smaller and smaller as you go up the pinnacle. Okay, the degree to which it's constraining the movement is lessened as you move along the path of ascension. Lessened. Because you could say it's completely changed, which I would love to get into details, but niggas need the basics. Fuck. So this is why I say it's a means to an end. The work proper is that we axis, okay? But in order to do that effectively, you need to deal with the me axis, okay? And this is about being honest about your personality and physical life. Okay, this is all those things. Look, all that shit that makes up the idea of Brandon. Because remember, Brandon's body in the physical world, that's in the red. That's back behind him. He turned away from that to go within, right? That's the without. He's facing the within, which is non-physical, okay? He's got the I am Brandon, the personality. This is the part you'd readily agree to. Hey, is that Brandon? You know it is, man. He's him, okay? But the other side of that, not even the other side of that, you can say, it's the torus of it, okay? So the personality is the illuminated part. The lack of illumination, 2 classes of that, the things you're completely unaware of and the things you just rather not look at, okay? All that stuff is equally, I am Brandon. This is what I'm saying about shadow work. It's all about Brandon. The idea of Brandon, the conception of Brandon. This is something you've created. See, the guidepost is guidance on godhood, not guidance on spooky humanity. This is the bottom. This is the floor. And to the degree to which you don't do this, you bring the floor with you. And if you bring the floor with you, you're not going. Fuck. You'll bring the floor with you as opposed to the points. Look, shadow work is a means to an end. You can go without doing it. You really can. Technically. But that's what I'm saying. And you ain't getting no bitches for that shot. Ain't nobody see it, no highlight reels, bro. You ain't getting no bitches for that shot. There's no purpose in doing it that way. Okay, so shadow work is along the me axis. Ascension is along the we axis, as in you and the divine. Because you don't necessarily have to be the me. That's where we get into the methodology, because there are 3 fundamental paths of ascension, 3 fundamental approaches to the work. You see here, 3 fundamental approaches to the work, all of which are equally valid. In the Western tradition, they are called the right and the left-hand path. Sometimes the middle path is delineated, although on brand with the middle path, you don't even give it a name. But to the degree to which you would, they call it the middle path. That is the Western tradition, okay? Look, I'm going to push away from that. That correlates to what I'm talking about, but it's not the exact same thing. And I want you to keep that in mind, okay? This is the core you need to understand about the 3 fundamental paths of ascension. All 3 are equally valid in their own right. All 3 are equally valid in their own right. It is not to say, hey, pick a path so you can exclude the others. It's to say, no, Pick a path so you can identify your bearings. So you can get your bearings. Not so that you can dedicate yourself to something. Let's not try to worship shit. Anyways. On the right, you have a top-down view of what you have on the left, okay? It's going to look like one, because it's essentially one thing you're moving to. It's one direction. But there are three fundamental angles of approach to this direction, okay? The first one is called the path of the child. On the path of the child, and this is a methodological map, how do you know? Because Brandon's face is on it, right? Not only that, here's another way you know. Because the fundamental map is underneath. And so what you're looking at is an overlay of the fundamental map. What do you mean the fundamental map? Red, blue, purple. I gotta go back to the fundamental map. I hate all of you. There we go. Epistemology and ontology. There's your fundamental map. Here's a methodological map. What do we know about the difference between a fundamental map and a methodological map? The methodological map is an overlay on top of the fundamental map. When I say an overlay, that means when you look at the methodological map, you can see the fundamental map underneath. Excuse me, that's funny. So when you look here, you can see the fundamental map underneath. Look at the colors. This is all you need right here is the colors. Because this is just ontology and epistemology. Basic ontology and epistemology. This isn't even complex ontology and epistemology. This is what I'm saying. This is why I give you basic shit so you can build whatever you want on top of it. That's why I'm not, because I could make it very complex. I love it. It would make more sense to me, but I don't. Anyways, methodological map, okay? Three fundamental angles of approach. The first of these three fundamental angles of approach is being called the path of the child. Generally in the Western tradition, they would call it the path, the right-hand path. Most people would consider the right-hand path to be just organized religion. That's ridiculous. It's not. That's incorrect. That's incorrect, okay? It is not simply organized religion. You can have an organized religion for people who have the same premises of thinking from the left-hand path, okay? The right, middle, and left-hand path are physical life policy. They are methodology. They are physical life policy. They are not speaking to some truth, some fundamental truth. Which path of ascension, which methodology you use in your physical life policy is not speaking to some fundamental truth. It's speaking to what is you. All right, look here, on this fundamental map, on the path of the child, the idea of me and you are the same thing, basically. They may as well be the same thing, all right? Not to say there's not more, because there's certainly more, but on the path of the child, from a right-hand path perspective, the idea of me and you is the same thing, okay? It's even that way with the path of the mother. The path of the mother is generally going to be likened to the idea of the middle path. And I'm breezing through this, not taking my time intentionally, because I take my time in the guild. I take my time in the guild. Once you get it, and I took my time, listening to me go through it quicker isn't going to be hard. But if you never listen to me go through it slow, whatever. Anyways, path of the mother. This is traditionally considered the middle path, okay? The highest height of detachment. But anyway, the point, though, is that even on the path of the mother, the middle path, the idea of me and this you don't necessarily need to switch, don't necessarily need to be incongruent. They can be the same thing, okay? But when you're talking about the left-hand path, what I'm calling the path of the father, because people think the left-hand path is just spooky right-hand path. Because they don't understand the right-hand path, but that makes sense though. Anyways, the idea of this me and the you aren't the same thing. You see, once again, it's not to say what is right. It's to understand the distinctions. It's to understand the details. You want to tell me you live in the physical world, my nigga, first of all, what is you? Second of all, what's the difference between the physical and the non-physical? How you know? What's your map look like? Because if you don't know the difference between the two, ain't no way you can tell me you're going to go from one to the other. How you going to know you made it? This is the problem with faking it until you make it, because all you ever get around to doing is faking it. How would you know you make it? And this is how most people measure that. If they do what their teacher does. But you niggas don't even understand what your teacher does. You just faking it. Anyway, this is a methodological map. Another way you'll know it's a methodological map is because I have things like you, me, myself, I, okay? Methodological because it has you in it. I can give you a map of the entire planet. It's a fundamental map if I don't say you are here. But as soon as I go you are here, this is a methodological map. See, it can all be so simple. It's not difficult, guys. The methodology is an overlay on top of the fundamentals. Most of the maps you niggas know, even though you don't even know that they're maps, because you're too busy thinking you know it because you can say all the words on the picture. Head ass niggas. No, that's not the page. Where's the page I want? Here's the page I want. Most of the things you niggas know are maps, but they're not methodological maps. They're fundamental maps. The tree of life in the Kalipov is a fundamental map. The chakras are a fundamental map. The elements, the fivefold pattern, these are fundamental maps. None of them are methodological. So I don't care if you know every name on this map. It don't mean you know how to use it. It don't mean you know where you are. Look, like I said, I give you a map of the whole planet. The name of everything you find on it. All the mountain ranges, all the cities, all the rivers, all the oceans. I'll label them all. But it's a fundamental map. If I don't say you are here, it's a fundamental map and it does not include what is you and how to use it. It is presumed that you know how to use it. Why is it presumed that you know how to use it? Because it's for the initiated. Just knowing the names that you read on the map isn't proof that you know how to use it or you know where you are. I can read all the... Look, let me pull up a map, because I'm just talking shit if I don't show you on a map. I'm just talking shit if I don't show you on a map. Hey, let's go to Google Maps. Look at that. This is a fundamental map. This is a fundamental map. Why is it a fundamental map? Because there's no where are you. There's no destination. There's no method. The fundamentals are present. You got the roads. You got the points. You got the rivers and forests, streets. Come on. This is a fundamental map. Fundamental map. What's your chakras? Not only do you have the sevenfold division, but now you have the colors and the names on top of it. Tree of life. Not only do you have the delineated Sephiroth and associated paths, but you have the names and the attributes of all of them. Ontology and epistemology. Come on, it's very simple. It's very simple. This is a fundamental map. But now how can I make that different? Let's say, let's do this. I want to get directions. How do I get directions? Okay, look, I'll look up the Goodwill, because you know I'll be looking for it, right? Look, and once again, I hadn't put on method yet. I haven't put on method yet because there's no directions. It's not telling me where I'm at. It's not telling me where I'm at. But when I do directions, you enter where you start at. So I'm gonna do Atlanta City Hall. So let's say you're saying where I'm starting is Atlanta City Hall, okay? Which method? That's the best method. Okay, here. And look, there's different methodologies, bro. Cause look, I put Atlanta City Hall and the Goodwill thrift store down here. This is it's not Fayetteville. No, that's not far enough to be Fayetteville. That's okay. Where is that? Why am I worried about where it's at? Okay, what makes this a methodological map? Stop. What makes this a methodological map? You have the fundamental map there, but overlaid on top of the fundamental map, we have where are you going, and how do you get there? Watch, let's change how do you get there. We're going to keep where are you and where are you going. Watch us change how do you get there. Look at this. Let's say this is the right-hand path, going on a car. Here's the middle path. I'm going to walk. Uh-oh, switches it up, doesn't it? Switches it up, doesn't it? Matter of fact, here, let's go this. I'm going to do left-hand path. I'm doing subway, nigga. Let's hit the subway. That changes up that's a whole different way to do it. It don't change where you are or where you end. Why? Why? Because when you select a place of where you are, it's just selecting something on the fundamental map. Okay, so when you're looking at the tree of life, when you're looking at the chakras, these are fundamental maps. They are not methodological. They are not methodological. This is why you niggas is confused about fucking spooky back oil. So dumb. Oh, that makes so much sense now. The people that created the fundamental maps, assuming that most readers are initiated. Exactly. Exactly. Because look, if you just showed a motherfucker who never seen Google Maps, that motherfucker don't know how that shit work. But because everybody in this group, everybody in this fucking spiritual community gets to be right, nobody understands anything. Tree of life, chakras. These are fundamental maps. What you niggas is looking for is methodology. And see, the only way you're going to figure out methodology is if you know where are you, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. What's I'm saying? Don't be mad at them. Don't be mad at them for being them. All right? It's very okay. I'm not mad at you for being you. I'm mad at you for not being me. Oh, shit. Okay, whatever. I can pick it up. Anyways, I want to get back to shadow work. You got to drop the pin of where you at. Yeah, you got to drop it. In order to make it methodological, you got to start at least there. See, look, you may not even need where you want to go and how you're going to get there sometimes on a methodological map. Here's an example. If you go to a shopping mall, there's like 6 different copies of the same map, right? But depending on which of those maps you arrive at, it's going to have that arrow that says you are here. It's not going to tell you where you need to go because you already know where you need to go. I came to the mall. I'm looking at the map because I want to figure out, I already know where I want to go. I just need to know where it's at. And once I see, okay, I'm here, then what do? You can map out the rest of your method. You can map it out. You can chart it. But why do they have the you are here? To give you your bearings. It's very simple, guys. It's very simple. And see, this is why a lot of you are going to come to find you don't understand a lot of the spiritual stuff because you've taken it for granted that you know because you can repeat the words. Shadow work. Shadow work. And I think I also don't like the idea of the concept of shadow work because people don't really understand how deeply the two are interconnected. You could easily call it personality work because that'd be, really? I'd call it personality work more than I call it shadow. Shadow's the effect of some shit. It's the effect. It's the results of some shit, man. Once again, people call it shadow work, once again, because that's what Carl Jung called it, and it's the humanism. Because what's most valuable as the human is this great personality. And that's kind of the pinnacle of the self-help idea. And I get it, it's humanism. I get it, but what I'm saying is it's a means to an end. Unless, of course, what you believe you is human. In which case, once again, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Well, I will say human is a lie. But to each their own. What I mostly mean is that even if you say what you are is human, it's not incongruent with what I'm talking about. For example, let's say, this is why I put myself here, because you can still include it. I'm not telling you to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm telling you to make the distinctions. Make the distinctions. That's what's going to make the difference. Literally. Don't be a dick. The point is to the degree to which the idea of you is associated with that me. Okay? That's the me of Brandon. Okay? The me of Brandon. Because look at this. Let's say this idea of genius was like a guardian angel. Okay? Let's plug in a guardian angel in that example right there. Why does that fit? Because it's right between you and something beyond that, the higher place, okay? A nice little intermediary, easy to imagine, okay? And once again, I'm not saying a guardian angel is anything in the physical world. How do you know I'm not saying that? How do you know if I say genius is like a guardian angel in this respect? How do you know I'm saying it's not something physical? Excellent. Great job. Because it's not red. Exactly. Very easy, right? In fact, what color is it? Purple. So what does that mean? Primordial. Exactly. See? You can see the fundamental map underneath the methodology. Anyways. Let's say genius in this respect was some type of a guardian angel, okay? That genius itself has its own me. It has its own me. See, the only me I'm focused on is because the Brandon one, because that's the one everybody's focused on. But the movement of genius along this we axis, the movement of genius along that we axis it's a different order of me, I guess you could say. Okay, but the me we're talking about for this is Brandon. All right, that's the one you're going to have to get in order. All right, so that genius would have its own me. What do I mean by that specifically? Here, let me get into here. Because when you're doing this from the path of the Father, from the left-hand path, the you and the me are completely separate. Well, you can pull this you back down to here, but it doesn't. That's not the premises of thinking. And so the details are what make the difference. So what do I mean by the details of me? What do I mean by the details of me? That's a great fucking question. God, y'all are some excellent students. That is a great question. What do I mean by this me? What are the details of that me? All right, let's wipe away the humanism for a little while. Wipe this off. There we go. Guidance on Godhood. I would say, instead of starting with this human premises, let's start with the premises of Godhood. And I hate the word God, but people love it. Anyways, let's start on the premises of Godhood, okay? This idea of me, of yourself as Brandon, it's something that's non-physical. It's a non-physical being. It is a God. It is spirit. Specifically, you can call it spirit, okay? But let's continue. It's the first God that you've created. It's the first God. Why do I... Don't. Continue the analogy. Thank you. It's the first God it's created. Why do I call it a God? Well, you know it like God. Like people would know gods. What do I mean by that? You know its theology. You know all the hidden secrets of that personality. This is why it's easy for you to be nicer to other people, because you don't see all other people's bullshit. You see them as worthy of empathy and acceptance and acknowledgement. Okay, that's why some of you motherfuckers can be nice so easily. But it's more difficult to see that for yourself because you know all the hidden apocrypha. You know all the hidden secrets in the theology. You know, if there's a motherfucker 7,000 years ago, or some 20,000, 100,000 years ago, right? A priest of Tahuti. You went to him and he knew the whole theology. He knew a whole canon. He knew the controversies in the canon. He knew the fan stories. He knew the side shit. He knew the hidden apocrypha that most motherfuckers who was part of the shit would know unless you went to him. That's what you are with your personality. You're an expert on it. You're an expert in all those details. This is the problem. This is the problem. You're not being honest. You're not being honest. And I guarantee you, if you even for a fraction of a second thought I was not talking about you, like somehow for some reason you get overlooked. Just two of them. Okay. Look, keep thinking that because I already know you two are gonna think that. The rest of you. I'm most certainly talking about you. I'm even talking about me. You don't stop wiping your ass. Shadow work is not something you hit, you get in there, have a big emotion-y, and then you're done. And you go talk to people about how they need to do their shadow work. No. I got shit on my ass from this morning, too. I don't. I took a shower. I just took a shower. Chill out. But I'm saying, though, I had to deal with it like anyone else. So I'm not saying this from some up high place. My nigga, I stay in the mud. Mama told you not to wrestle with a pig and shit because they like it. Oink, oink, nigga. Oink, oink. I wonder what the fuck you doing here in all this mud, playing like you're not in the mud, too. Look, honest about what you're aware of. Here, let me pull it in a little bit. Perp equals primordial. Yes, ma'am. Very easily. Thank you, Imani. Very easy, right? Anyway, let me pull it in a little bit. Okay. Here's a nice little experiential example, okay? Let's say you've been on a diet, right? You've been on a little diet. I'm only going to eat da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? Okay, cool. Y'all do the thing you do, Mark. Little dingleberries. Right, nigga? Look. And that's the funny thing about a dingleberry. You the one still holding on to it. Even though you don't know how. Oh my God, I love it. You're still agreeing to it. Oh shit. Literally. Pun intended. Fucking love this shit. What was that? Shit. What the fuck was I talking about? Thanks a lot, Dawson. Oh shit. Oh, okay. I'll go back to where I think I was at. The example. That's what I was doing. Okay, so let's say you on a little diet, right? And you're supposed to be eating da-da-da-da-da-da-da and not da-da-da, right? Okay, whatever that is. Let's say you do it right for the whole 6 weeks, right? For like a whole 6 weeks, and then you get to this, I don't want to say 6 weeks. 6 weeks is really good, actually. Let's say you do it for the first 6 days. Okay, that's a little tougher, right? The first 6 days, that's tough. Maybe on day 5. You see your hand reaching for the thing you're not supposed to eat. You watch your hand move, almost like you not moving, and do the thing it's used to doing. Picking up that cake, picking up that Gatorade, I don't know, whatever the fuck you're not supposed to do, okay? But you can see your hand doing it, and you can stop it. No, I'm not gonna do that. What's in the space of your psyche as something like that occurs? Okay, because you can also see yourself just continuing to do that bad habit that you know you don't want to do. My hands just be rolling up the blunt by themselves, bro. It's like, look, it don't be that bad, but you understand what I'm talking about. There's more space between what action occurs and your agreement to it. Okay, and it's not like you can not only see yourself doing it, but you're aware of your own capacity to stop it then. You're aware of it. You may not know how to just really lean in or really let go, but you're aware of your capacity to do it. And you need to be honest with yourself about what you actually saw. You sweeping up the kitchen, right? You getting the dirt. Oh, you kind of tired of doing it, don't even want to do it. Out the corner of your eye, you see a piece of trash behind the trash can that you didn't sweep. Only a few seconds. And you keep sweeping like you didn't see it. Honesty. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that piece of trash is going to be the end all be all in the whole house. I'm not. You're probably right that it's insignificant and you can ignore it. But what I tell you, this is what I tell you. If that becomes a habit, that's something different. See, what if that little piece of trash is like a weed in your garden? You leave it alone while it's little. Okay, man, that's not going to do nothing. I've got my vegetables here. You can have a little bit. I'm being generous. Oh, look at me. I'm like a god. No, watch. That motherfucker going to get big as hell, soaking up the nutrients, and you're going to be like, when it's big, trying to fight it, this is crazy. No, you let it grow. You agreed to it. But stop. Is that like ultra instinct mode? Nah, I wouldn't say no ultra instinct mode. Because you don't want to, you'll catch yourself with the instinct shit. Because sometimes you'll run just off instinct and emotion. And that's not going to get you where you want to go. I remember one time I was cleaning my room. This is years ago. And I knocked over like a pan full of shit, right? It even had blunt guts in that shit. It was a bunch of shit all over the floor. I knocked it over accidentally. And I looked at it. And I was like, okay, you just kept cleaning the room. Because I'm cleaning the room anyway. But then I had to catch myself like, whoa. Because usually, if that had happened, I would have reacted like a little bitch, got mad. Fuck, now I gotta do this. But when I didn't do it, I not only noticed it, but I noticed the space between the occurrence and my reaction to it. And it was more than like just a few seconds. It was like, oh, there's a lot of room in here. Like, you know, on Futurama when Fry realizes that the back of Bender's little, what he's calling his apartment is just like really an entryway, and it's like a whole apartment in there. It's like that. Like, oh shit, there's some space in here. I thought it was cramped. Bro, I'm cleaning the walls right now in my house and realizing how fucking dirty they are. And the crazy thing, I walk past the walls 100 times a day. After you sweep that kitchen and you see it, you'll forget it and leave it there. And they get bigger and bigger. And look, you might not even notice it. You'll walk past it 100 times. Look, and that's just some shit you ignore. Imagine the shit up under the stove, under the fridge, behind the cabinets. You look at the cabinet every day. You cook on that stove, be flinging that rinse. How often do you pull it out? Look, fuck pulling out. How often do you even just lift up the lid on it? Did you know you could? See, man, this is what I'm talking about. It's not to say that doing these things is gonna make life everything, and this is the meaning of it. No, it's that okay. It's gonna make things. It's gonna make things more streamlined. I'll tell you that much first. It'll make things more streamlined, but you get out of your own way. That's the big shit about shadow work. It's you're in your own way. You're in your own way mostly because you have habits of not being honest with yourself about yourself. A lot of times people will take a scenario and spin it so that it's a little more palatable. And once again, once or twice, not a problem. But if that's a habit, every time you perceive life, you spin it a little so it's palatable. The thing you get after you've done that a few times, all of this shit is spun. And so it's not accurate. But maybe it's, oh my God, this is all I ever had. Okay, cool. Well, what's it going to do for you? It's going to give you a skewed view of reality. A view that's only skewed to your survival instinctive comfort. It's not going to see the world. All you're going to see is yourself bent. You got to get out of your own way. You got to be honest with yourself. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, for the motherfuckers who's like, I'm going beyond the physical life. I'm not human. I'm beyond all this stuff. Okay, cool, but why are you bringing it with you? What is you? And if what you isn't this humanity, isn't this personality or body, if that's the case, why is that the highest you're going? See, this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying shadow work is a means to an end. Because if that thing ain't even what you are, why are you caught up? Why are you in your own way? Or why is that in your way? See, motherfuckers will do the whole pineal, calcified pineal. Like, bruh, that little piece of meat is like this big. It's like this big. And it's got a sprinkle of calcium on it. And somehow, the divine of divinest divines is stopped by that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's nothing to do with anything in your physical body. Motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If nobody's gonna challenge it, they just say stuff. Stop being a dick. Stop being a dick. Fuck. I know, you're mad they're not you. Not specifically me. It's not even trying. They don't chew. They're babies, though. They don't even have teeth yet. Stop. Okay. All right. I'll be okay. What is this? Okay. Yeah, still going. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I can be my own worst enemy sometimes. Yes. And usually unreasonably so. Like I get it. Because it's easy to be unreasonable to yourself because you know more about yourself. You know, so you think you deserve some of the terrible shit you do. And, you know, sometimes you do. But like I say people who have to go through a lot of survival stuff, okay? Like being in survival mode. But this is part of the reason I don't like to be the humanist thing. A lot of people treat trauma as though it's something you're not supposed to have. It's necessary. Hatching out of an egg is traumatizing, even though it's just the beginning, so to speak. A seed, a sprout coming out of a seed is traumatic. Breaking through the soil is traumatic. Moving through that layer of leaves is traumatic. Finding that all the fucking trees around you are sucking up most of the light, and so you can't spend your time branching out. You got to get up so you can get past them. Otherwise, you might starve, even though you just did that, and the third just to live. You're a little chick, and you hatch out of that egg. It's cold as fuck. I wish mama would sit down so I could be warm, because my feathers ain't for warmth. At least not yet. Oh shit, mama is moving. I better get to fucking running. Trump, mama, please don't leave me. Where you going? Oh, where you going? Oh, come on. Come back. It's stressful. It's natural. It's traumatic. It shapes us. You have to have it. But then when you want to grow beyond it, you have to let it go. And you can't just say, I hit my butt with the toilet paper once. Nah, bruh. You're going to have to not only wipe every day, multiple times. Fuck you mean. Otherwise, you're going to be the Dingleberry King. Still holding on to some shit and don't know how you doing it. If you look a little closer, I mean, just get in there. Oh. Sorry. Oh. I really enjoyed that analogy. That is hilarious to me. Oh, man. Fuck. Where am I at? I'm about an hour and a half into this. That's hilarious. Okay. What else did I not cover that I want to make sure I cover? The details, man. Because one way I like to describe what you're doing with shadow work is you're actually getting back in there and taking a look. You actually get back in there and take a look. See some of the things that you're agreeing to. Some of the dingleberries that you're holding and you don't realize you're holding. You don't know why you're holding them or don't know how to let them go. You didn't even notice you was doing it. Okay. Uh, so washing the ass can be synonymous with letting go of past trauma. Yeah, and depending on how well you do it, depends on how well it is washed. Depending on how much you let it go. And look, because then this will be the thing. You'll come around this first time, right? And you wipe it good. You wipe it good. That thing clean. But then you get around looking at it a different way, like, oh shit, I didn't even wipe it right. Damn. I thought I wiped it. I was right. But from that angle, you were right. But from this angle, you missed that under part right there. You gotta. And then you look at it from another angle, you like, damn, I didn't even think about the fact that I got hair down there. What's going on with the hair? Maybe that's how I'm catching them dingleberries. It's hilarious to me. Bro, it's a great analogy. It's a great analogy. Could making art be shadow work? You can use that as a form of it. You can use that as a form of part of a methodology. Yeah, and especially if they come out as very honest images for yourself. Because this is why I don't like fake it till you make it. I like fucking face it. Look it in the face. You want to become intimate with the parts of your personality that you'd rather not pay attention to. You want to become intimate with them. I won't forget. I won't stop quoting Travis Majors. He was telling y'all, you get on the left-hand path, don't know what the fuck you doing. You're going to make huge monuments to your bullshit. You got to be able to discern, distinguish the details, the subtlety. Yep, it's kind of like taking a shit, and after that, taking a shower. And right after you come out the shower, you got to take another shit. I always hate that. Oh, that's why I go out of my way to be able to sure I took a shit before a shower comes around. Because, you're trying to wipe your ass and it's wet, and so the toilet paper crumbling and you ain't even really wiping it. And it's just like, and don't be the nigga got soap on them still. But, I hate it. I hate it. You were explaining the me, you, and I in the past of genius. Okay, those are placeholders. Here, let me pull that back out. And I'll use the path of the child. Because really, bro, this is the path motherfuckers need to really agree to. And stop trying to make it trendy and cool. Like, you can always change it, but you really need to be able to get a vantage point where you can see. You can start where you're at. Fuck. So yeah, when we're talking about, me, you, and I, okay? I, like on the map, is talking about, okay, your destination. Me is talking about, you is talking about where you start. Okay, me and genius are two different particular places on the fundamental map you could start, so to speak. Okay, and so when on path of the child, you starts at me. On the path of the mother, you also starts at me. To the degree to which there's a start at the beginning, because on the middle path, it's all one. Like, it's just, anyways. But on the path of the father, you starts at genius. Okay? But me is still there. That's what I'm saying. It's equally extant. Yeah, so I mean, it's a map. These black books are atlases. They're collections of maps. Understand how a map works. Philosophers are cartographers of consciousness. Yeah, Travis is a G, bro. Travis is a saint, man. Travis is so nice to y'all. Oh, God. I'm disgusted with how nice I am now. Trav be in there with y'all, bro. He just cool. I can't with y'all. But I'm going to do it. That's why I'm doing this. It's good for me, too. Damn it hurts. Okay. What else do I want to get into? What else do I want to get? I can't wait till Trav releases that interview he did. It's going to be banging. Facts. Okay. What else do I want to make sure I hit with shadow work? As far as the path of the passive ascension, this is methodological. Remember that. It's the last thing I want to get on. This is methodological. Here's the picture I want. It's methodological. Okay? Even though essentially it's one work, there are three fundamental angles of approach to that same work. There are three fundamental angles of approach to that same work. This is methodology. It's like if we're on Google Maps, it's the distinction between hitting drive, walk, bicycle, and subway, okay? We're talking about methodology. All right, so those are the different, those are what's going to make the passive ascension distinct. All right, we're saying, well, where are you? Where are you starting? Where are you going? And how are you getting there? Travis told me about the interview you guys did. He said you were savage mode, bruh. I was in rare form. I will admit. I've been in rare form for a little while now. I'm actually making rare form a bit normality so I can get a whole new rare form. But I was in rare form. I was in rare form, guys. I'm disgusting. Yo, but it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be fucking fun. One of these days I have to get with Travis to get him to give a good, nice little back and forth and a discussion about what I'm calling the path of the mother or the middle path. Because Trav's a great example for that shit, bro. Trav's a great example. Like, let me tell you, like Trav is so neutral, it's almost biased. Like that's it though. Like you gotta be dedicated to something, like to an idea. Like that's the fundamental reason I need to tell you about the paths of ascension. Because in order to answer this, you have to actually contend with what you believe. You got to contend with what you believe. It's one thing to reject the idea that anyone else can tell you what's true. Okay, that's wonderful. Great job. You did a good job, kiddo. But now that you have the power to do whatever you wanted to do, which is what you always had, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know. What are the rules? What you mean, what are the rules? You just told me throw the rules out. What that mean? That mean you got to make the rules. And whatever rules you make, that's got to be law. So you can't just be saying shit no more to make sure you defend something you don't want to have to look at. I don't want to have to. What I'm astral ether energy. I know what I'm talking about. No, you don't. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And you see, look, I want you to notice this. When I'm explaining these things to you, I don't need to invoke mind or energy. Hell, I only invoke God because it's part of the name of the show, Guidance on Godhood. But I said Godhood, not God as in the character. Not even simply as the position, but the experience of the position, more especially from the idea of some collective or group, or that you're not being the only one. Because we can dip into solipsism. We really could. I actually would recommend you have a good pull, good taste of solipsism. I won't tell you it's the end all be all, but I would say you'd want to contend with it. More especially if you're talking about Path of the Father. If you're talking about Path of the Father, you're not only going to have to contend with nihilism, you're going to have to contend with solipsism. You're going to have to contend with solipsism. What is solipsism? Excuse me, I'm being a dick. I'm not being a dick, I'm being exact, but they're being, stop. What is solipsism? Solipsism is the belief that the only thing there is you. Only your mind. I mean, and you know, there's some validities to it, and not validities to it. Some people will make some valid points about it. Like you have no way of knowing whether or not everyone else is just an NPC. With a degree to which any of this physical stuff is a thing. Okay, all there may be is just you. The only thing by yourself, nothing else. Okay. And once again, just like people treat nihilism like it's some type of a boundary. Oh, I got here and there's nothing underneath. There's no intrinsic meaning to it all. Well, duh, it's a blank canvas. You're the thing that makes shit. You're the thing that makes shit. You quick to call yourself a creator. What, you want a piece of paper somebody already drew on? A piece of shit. A piece of shit. A piece of shit. That's what I'm gonna give you guys today. For those who are in the guild, Office hours today is from 3 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. We don't record office hours, so feel free, whatever you want to talk about, however you want to talk about. You'll see me. I'm going to show up. That's part of what you pay for. Me showing up. Even though motherfuckers pay for them to show up, some people, hey, get in here, lean in. But hey, I can't force you. I'm gonna make it available for you. I'm gonna give you what I got. Yeah, this has been great, guys. I appreciate y'all's participation. Especially those in the guild, bro. I'm so proud of the motherfuckers in the guild. Because not only are we discussing this stuff, as I'm teaching them the Bookman model, which I have the model so people can have conversations without having to use different fragmented, broken pieces where nobody knows the connotation or the denotation of anything. No. With the Bookman model, it's made for contemporary people to be able to discuss these things. And they're doing it. I love it. Like they're actually chewing on the information now. It makes more sense. You don't just sit there and take it from a lecture and then try and go do it yourself. Like we can go back and forth. And over more than one day about it. And then maybe on the third day, you're like, oh shit, that was what you meant. I'm looking at this and it's right in my face, but I didn't see it. I was reading it wrong. Oh shit, I get what you're saying now. Cool. We're right where we need to be. And as a matter of fact, not only are we right where we need to be, you're right where you need to be. Because now you not only see what I was saying, you see something about yourself and how you perceive things that you didn't see before. And now you can check for that next time. That's invaluable. Whatever. The point. Guidance on Godhood. That is what the guild is about. Guidance on Godhood. I don't care how you do it, where you do it, which way you want to do it. I want to talk to you about the basic fundamentals. And any idea that you know, whatever it is, tell me what you know shit about. All right, now if you don't know shit about shit, that's probably your problem. But if you're competent in at least one area of something, as long as, let's say, you can teach me that a little bit, we can have a conversation about what I know. Okay, this is made to be able to have conversations about it. However you do. See, look, bro, when I said genius was like a guardian angel, it don't have to be. It could be fucking anything. I said guardian angel because everyone's going to know what the fuck I mean. It could be anything. As a matter of fact, you can be anything. Fucking humans. But anyway, check this stuff out. Yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I appreciate y'all fucking with me. Next week, I may or may not do a live. It's vacation week next week. So there'll be no class session. And there may be a reason for me to do something. I'll see. Whatever. Anyways, be like the water. Get drunk! Hey!